The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another excellent edition, the July 2nd edition, not quite the July 4th edition. 2 more days till we all have a full day off here at TFNN, well deserved. It's been a quiet market today. We can pretty much hear the little crickets out there on the New York Stock Exchange trading floor with a very, very light day. And of course, pretty much waiting for the jobs numbers in the morning. And kind of got some numbers out today, not a big deal, but we're up about half a point on the S&P cash with 1.77 billion shares. So maybe just a little bit more volume than I thought we would have for a day that is so flat out here. Of course, the CNBC's doing their party hat thing with 17,000 on the Dow. I don't spend a lot of time on it. Of course, you hear that on the news, and that's what a lot of people are going to hear. My guess is they're going to jam this thing up tomorrow, at least on that 17,000 level. So, of course, the news all weekend long is Dow 17,000. If you're pushing paper out there, you've got to be able to make a statement that you're in a bull market. And looks like Wall Street's going to be able to do that with 30 stocks that are 95% owned institutionally and not really representative of the market, but certainly can grab a headline or two. And as people go into the 4th of July weekend in the summer of their discontent, what will happen? And the idea is, of course, to make sure everybody feels good until the bottom falls out, or at least that's my opinion. And it would be different if, the one thing is that what happens when we start seeing higher interest rates. This is an artificially inflated market. And if true market conditions returned, what would be the price of stocks? I think that they would be lower, but we can have different things. Of course, not much happening now. Probably have some fireworks in the morning, going into a close at noon tomorrow. And, of course, the last day to catch me on my show this week. So probably you're going to have to get your fill of Dave. Just get it up there to the F mark today, because I will be not back on this same bat channel until Monday. In 1971, Merrill Lynch goes public, becoming the first New York Stock Exchange firm to do its own initial public offering. What could go wrong with that? 2 things stand out. It had been 200 years before a company decided to go public and share some profits with the rubes out there. Merrill Lynch, which is, of course, advertising, it was bullish on America, if you remember the ads back then, basically pushes out a ton of paper. And until that time, it was the next 3-4 years was probably the worst bear market in history. And so they pushed out their paper just in time to make sure that old Merrill had everybody's cash at the top of the market. In 1893, the panic reaches its all-time low in the markets. 1/4 of the nation's railroads were heading into bankruptcy, and the directors of the New York Stock Exchange were almost voting to close down the exchange because it was losing so much money, and no one wanted anything to do with it. Of course, probably about 1880 to 1890 and 91 was kind of the equivalent of the dot-com with railroad companies. These things were selling for astronomical values and kind of the space shuttle of their time. But we can always look back to history to know that even though something seems like a technological marvel, they can be outdated fairly quickly. But, just right then there were 2 big sectors. And I think even going into 1920, there were only 200 companies listed on the New York Stock Exchange. So it was a very, very small market. Almost all of them had something to do with steel and or railroads, and a few other ones. RCA, I think, had gone public maybe 1992 or 1922. I'm going to have to go back and look at it. But I think RCA went public early on, and it was, of course, the Apple of its time in the 20s. But there is nothing new under the sun, Horatio, and we can always look back to these points in the market to figure out what's going on. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648. That's 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com, and or you can post a message in the den. But right now it seems awful quiet, and the natives are not restless. Anyway, it is a mad market. I had been out running around doing some things, so I don't have a lot of slides for you today, but we are going to go through many of the stocks that are moving today, and I just wanted a little bit of news out here that I thought of interest. Probably one of the most interesting ones, and especially when we look at solar energy, is some reports out of Germany. They are having electrical rates absolutely dive. And when you're thinking about basically competition for solar, that kind of stuff, and the fact that Germany says that they don't want anything to do with any more nuclear power stations, Germany's actually going after coal and firing up a bunch of new coal power plants. So probably worse for the air, but Germany doesn't have any problem with putting it. I remember my mother telling me, I think they were there from 1956 to 1959, maybe a little earlier. Maybe it was 1950. Well, I'm going to have to remember what she said to me now. All I can remember is she said that there would be a guy coming around every day when they were living there on the Air Force Base with a wheelbarrow full of coal to heat the house. And she said everything had kind of a dinge of coal on it because that's all they used over there. They must have had a lot of coal. And she told me about her black market activities where she bought a bunch of stuff and gave them U.S. dollars, which was verboten. And, of course, she had to always talk to Colonel Schultz.
I know nothing.
Well, anyway, he knew something. Oh, Colonel Schultz, Sergeant Schultz. What a guy. But that was very interesting. But I'm wondering if this is going to put more pressure on alternative energy sources. But certainly, let's see, let me read this here. December capacity will be at 117% of peak demand. So they'll have 17% left over, what anybody could conceivably use going into December. And what else in this article? Going to run into German power will raise to 42% by wind and solar from 30% in 2010. And coal will stay steady. But just looking at how much the electrical prices in Germany are falling, hard to see that it's going to be very competitive to be buying solar over in Germany anytime soon. Of course, Google bought Songza last night. It's been talked about for about 3 weeks. I don't think this is any kind of new news. It was also fairly inexpensive. I've heard ranges from 50 to $500 million. Who knows? Google is not talking about it. I actually was writing a couple of pages about that whole sector, which is streaming music. My position on that is no one has made any money on it ever. The musicians really don't make money. The streamers don't make money. And what is the reason that everybody's so hot to be in this? And I posit a theory in this week's Tech Insider, which will be out tomorrow morning before TFNN closes for the weekend. So you can look at that. Of course, we've been talking about Bitcoin off and on for a year and a half. I kind of warned everybody about it being kind of the beanie baby of currencies. Of course, it's been up and it's been down. It had been on a real tear. But one of the largest users of Bitcoins, which was a website called Silk Road on the dark internet, which is one that you can't normally browse to with a regular browser on a computer. You have to have a special browser that only goes to these dark sites, which used to sell huge amounts of drugs, prostitution, kiddie porn. If there's a reason why you couldn't get to it, and the reason was, of course, most of these things being illegal. The owner of the Silk Road, I think he's in jail awaiting trial for 6 counts of hiring somebody to commit murder. He was going to whack all his, at least they're alleging, he was going to whack all his, I like using whack. I've been watching The Godfather here last night again. He was going to whack all his underlings so they couldn't testify against him. Somebody found out about it and ratted him out. I think they were going to arrest him anyway for being a part of an ongoing criminal conspiracy, but of course murder, a lot easier to prove. Don't have to get into a bunch of books that you can't really prove things for, and very tough to show how you paid for it in Bitcoins. But basically there were 300,000 Bitcoins in this guy's account. The U.S. Marshals seized those and sold them yesterday. We finally now know who bought them. It was Tim Draper. He's a big venture capitalist, made a lot of money early on, and he's been investing very heavily in the whole alternative Bitcoin kind of business. Of course, it's been doing a little bit better out here, but he's bought all these coins to add liquidity to the market and become a big trader in it, but also to be a big exchange in the Bitcoin. So having 300,000 Bitcoins at whatever they're printing out at today will be kind of interesting. So that's another thing I thought very interesting out here. One of the things that I didn't handle on the Supreme Court was that Google had an appeal to throw out their case about the whole street view, where they were taking pictures of people up and down the street. And, of course, the bigger thing was that they were taking data off of your open internet connection on your wireless router. And, of course, the data and some of the stuff that they did was far beyond the pale. Those lawsuits will not be thrown out, and it will be going forward. And, of course, I don't know how big this is going to be. Google makes so much money, it may not be a big deal. But we will be seeing this in the coming years, I suspect, for Google. But one of the few things that Google has going against them. We'll be back in a moment. Give me a call.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartleys, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Wouldn't it be great if you could get a red light, green light indicator that gives you signals on 25 different future contracts? Now you can with Taz Signal Box. This red light, green light market profile system dynamically updates 24 hours a day and provides you with important trend and trade signals on 9 different commodities, 9 different indices, and 8 different currencies. Right now, you can receive a free 2-week trial to Taz Signal Box. For all the details and to find out how the Signal Box works, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Andy Heck's powerful weekly newsletter, the Technomental Commodity Report, has delivered multiple triple-digit winning trades in recent months. And right now's the perfect time to get a full month-long trial to Andy's newsletter with no obligation to pay anything. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Technomental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you'll lock in the low rate of only $59 a month. Sign up right now for the Technomental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Not even a real country anyway.
Well, they are a real country, but it's nice to make fun of them anyway. Of course, we've got a new law coming into effect. Actually, it was in effect yesterday. I really didn't want to talk much about it. I'm going to be writing about it in the Tech Insider later today. But we even had one of our guys in the office attend a webinar on how it's going to affect the Internet. But they have a new law coming on yesterday, but it's not really going to go. Everybody thought maybe it went into effect truly yesterday. It's kind of going to have a tiered effect over time, and it is basically a email law that will fine people up to and including millions of dollars if you send emails to people that don't opt in if it's anything other than a warranty issue or something like that. So probably one of the most aggressive spam laws in the country. And this is going to affect a great deal of people. Of course, for anybody dealing, if they don't have all the email addresses split out by the rest of the world and then Canada, it becomes a problem. Now, I bring up the whole thing normally on Tuesdays for Patch Tuesday for Microsoft to remind everybody to install their patches. But Microsoft normally emails those to developers, and of course I always take a look at them. I don't take them by email anymore I have an RSS feed where I look at them, but they're not going to do them at all by email anymore. In fact, Microsoft's going to be cutting off a great deal of email support for all their products in anticipation of seeing these laws basically very tough to implement. But it's going to be staggered. But in a couple of years, if you get an email from somebody and you didn't specifically opt in, you can go after them for up to $1 million. And I think right now it's about $10,000 per offense. But again, there's a lot more to this law. It's been 10 years in the making. But I think this is kind of like California doing some laws, and it's just too tough for the rest of the people to opt out. So basically, California thinks that they can change the way that the internet does business or people in the United States by changing their particular laws. This is the same kind of thing, and I'm wondering how Californians, especially so many people out here in California that are in Silicon Valley, will appreciate the fact that email is probably going to be less productive because you will have to actually go back in and opt in for just about everything. And I'm wondering if you're not going to have to give some DNA and or a blood sample to make sure, because the fines are so high. But a lot of these laws have unintended consequences. Of course, we at TFNN will comply with all laws. But I think we're probably within a couple of years of seeing more laws like that, probably in the United States. Certainly there are some more laws just like this that are going to be following probably next year in Europe. In the meantime, no laws like that in the United States. So we're probably not going to see a huge change, but look for more and more for maybe just the option of accidentally sending an email to somebody in Canada being such a huge fine. And, of course, these fines don't stop at the company level. They can go after individuals and CEOs of the company and make them pay also. So there's not going to be a whole lot of shielding. They've, like I said, spent about 10 years figuring this out. So it is going to be a ongoing thing. Really not understanding just how much it's going to affect the internet yet. And we've got a few years before it happens, but going to be very interesting. Other things of interest before we get into that. We talked a little bit a couple of weeks ago about John Oliver, who has a show on Sunday night on HBO, compared putting the head of the FCC in charge because of his job of basically working for the people that he governed, is being a dingo, being hired to watch a baby. And we've got more of that, kind of the same kind of thing happening in the patent field. We'll be back in just a minute.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN, and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
No matter where you listen to TFNN programming, we want you to know you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can't use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a mobile connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all of our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and radio call and talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com, educating investors. This segment is brought to you by Harmony Gold. For more information, just click the Harmony Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we were making fun with John Oliver about the FCC head of the FCC saying he was not a dingo a week ago or something. Well, we've got the kind of the same thing going on now with patent reform. The head of the patent office, of course, was a lobbyist for what? The biggest companies that have patents. So I'm assuming that he's been put in there to make sure that no patent reform has come along. So I don't know if it's totally dead or just sort of dead, but kind of tough to, in the FCC have the biggest opponent take over in the FCC, kind of for a net neutrality. Same thing at the patent office. Have the biggest opponent of patent reform, someone that's been a lobbyist for 15 years for them, take over also. So, what can you say? See if there's anything else out here that is of interest. I think that's pretty much all the stuff that I'd been looking at out here. We'll make sure and check, see if we have anybody else. As always, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. And I've been, we've got Rob R. He didn't say where he's from. Did send me a nice article about Nissan Leaves. And I've been researching it this week. So if you are listening, Rob, it's just something I haven't finished yet. I'm trying to get some more data on something before I write about it. But pretty interesting with the Nissan offering $100 a month, kind of an insurance plan over the total replacement package of a battery package. And I'm not exactly sure where the devil, of course, is always in the details. I've been trying to get Nissan to actually send me the contract so I can look through it, and they haven't been forthcoming as of yet, which it makes me just a little nervous. I may have to go to a local dealership to get a copy of it. But we're going to look through some of the stocks moving out here today, and just check in. Yeah, still flat on the S&P cash for all practical purpose, 1.9 million shares. As we go in here, American Airlines, let's see what we have out here. There's a few things going on. I'm just trying to catch up on here and see if there was anything out here. Okay, yeah, all the DAL moved today, and of course it reported its June consolidated passenger unit review increased 4.5%, and of course we've got a lot of these other stocks moving, including American Airlines, down a little bit on the news. Of course, DAL, the one actually reporting the news, and it's off a little bit here today. There were some other stocks that I thought were a little bit more interesting. ALU, a little pop out here. Of course, this is a stock that ran fairly large from about a year ago. I'd been looking at it and wasn't able to buy it any time technically. But thought that it looked very interesting. And this big run from on the left-hand side of the string is pretty much a huge deal where they were able to get the contracts for the routers in China. There's about 40 major cities in China that are hooked up now with high-speed gigabit fiber. And, of course, they won the contract over Cisco, probably for the reasons we already know with the NSA, and a little bit easier to have Alcatel-Lucent as a French-based company give basically everything away to get the deal, and I think they've pretty much done that. But we've had the last low out here at $3.50 on April 15th. Let me zoom in a little bit so we can see a little bit more. And, of course, it came back in, tested it with just slightly lighter volume. So there's a good chance that we're probably going to come back down to this gap area at about $3.50 one more time and see maybe if the volume comes down here at about 50% of that, maybe 7-8 million shares. This may look very interesting, but not a bad pattern out here. A little pop up on there just on an upgrade, so no real significant news. Of course, another upgrade in Bank of America. Upgraded to buy from hold at Deutsche Bank. I don't know if this actually means anything. In fact, it probably means nothing on a day like this. When we look back up here, this is not bad volume compared to the last high. And for the most part, this thing is kind of bouncing around this probably 1550 level to about 1650, which is the last major high. The April 24th high out here had what is that, 130 million shares. And, of course, into this previous high from June 10th on slightly lighter volume right now, but I imagine it'll be up to that 77 million shares we saw on June 10th. But certainly, maybe you got 50 cents more higher in this thing if you're lucky. CLF, which is Cliffs Natural Resources, is up on a little bit of news saying it's willing to settle the proxy contest with Casablanca Capital, basically some activist investors in this. And you're just going back up to this gap up, or gap down, excuse me, that happened on May 30th. And the volume was okay that day, 6.5 million shares, and, of course, 5.9 million shares today. So the volume's kind of coming up there. But you probably look at resistance back into that gap. And even if this thing did break out, there's yet another gap with some decent volume from the 16th of May that had 7.8 million shares. So not a lot of upside to this, but we are getting kind of a counter bounce on CLF. And if you were looking at this, a fairly decent confluence range that confluence range pretty much goes between $7.34 to $18.33. So kind of wide. It's going to act more like a consolidation range than anything, but pretty much, you got maybe another buck and a half in Cliffs Naturals, possibly to the upside. I probably wouldn't be in it. GT Advanced Technologies, we've been talking about this one for a while. I didn't think it was probably going to break out. Of course, I was wrong in the market, wrong on the stock. GTAT, this thing has finally broken out, but just like every time it's gotten above this $19 level, it has not had the juice to hold it. Of course, you wanted about anywhere from 10 to 13 million shares. We certainly have that today. We're going to have about 12 million shares right now. But just like a lot of these stocks that do break out, not a lot of volume. If you did want to play this one, there is a very good confluence on it back to the $16 level, and this may just be in a longer trading range. Of course, this company makes ovens to make sapphire crystals and sapphire wafers. These are used in things like LEDs and manufacture of LEDs, but for the most part, this huge run that started back over a while ago, a year, was on Apple really getting involved in this for sapphire displays for the iWatch and probably for the iPhone here in the near future. They bought enough ovens to basically build a 200 million displays a year, which gives you kind of a good indication of where they think they're going and that they're going to be using these for all of them. Now, 200 million sounds like a lot per year when they're probably selling about a fourth of that in iPhones. But the idea is that if they're going to want to kick out all these iPhones and have them available around a launch time or within a couple of months of launch, they've got to be able to build a lot more and very quickly, and that's probably why they bought that many. The problem has been is there going to be anybody else that's going to come in and give the same kind of orders that Apple can, and the chances are probably not that good. One, they don't have the technology to build those displays with sapphire crystals and sapphire ingots. And, whatever. But if you've had a Rolex or seen somebody with a high-priced Switch watch, it most likely has a sapphire crystal above the mechanism, and very clean and hugely scratch-resistant. Just about the only thing better you can go to is a diamond. Of course, Samsung's going to be competing with them with a material that is as strong or stronger and resistant to breaking and scratching as a diamond. So we'll be looking for that this fall. Already seeing some of it in their screens. We talked about Mankind just a few days ago, and that it could not hold this high at from the June 1st high at $11.11. Even with higher volume. That's really what we're seeing is a lot of these stocks are getting decent volume, but coming right back into the trading zone. Of course, this one ran on its new drugs and had a nice little pop just a couple of days ago on, I think it was the second trial of what they had. Rackspace is bouncing a bit. Of course, this last big bounce that they had on the 16th is them saying that they are exploring strategic alternatives. You've got Microsoft and Google all with huge incomes, and Amazon also with huge incomes or at least cash flow. And they continue to write down the cost of basically cloud services. Of course, Rackspace is only a cloud service company, so when everybody writes everything down, it hurts them. They are talking about doing the Dell thing and going private again, and that's since no one really came out and bought them, this thing was kind of bouncing along that thing. They came out today and said, maybe we'll just go private again. I don't know that they've got that many people wanting to dive into this thing and maybe it's just more grill. It's more, what are they? Grist for the mill. But nice little bounce out of here on a day that's fairly quiet. But could they go private again and then clean stuff up and maybe come back out when things are better? Seems to me a little bit far-fetched. Constellation brand had a huge pop out here this morning, gave a great deal of it back. When we look at Constellation brands, trying to remember the news on this. Where's it at? I'll look it up here. It was somewhere in here. Now I'll get the headlines. Thought I had it up here. No, it was results. They actually came out with decent results. I should have known that. I think I looked at this right before the beginning of the show. They always say the first thing to go is your memory. Anyway, this thing popped on earnings, but gave a huge bit of that back up to a high of $94.77. And when we look at this, what do we have? STZ up $2.38 now. And that's when you got a sideways day like this, awful hard to get a lot of cash, but there's always enough decent shorts out here, and we are getting in a market that is squeezing shorts very easily. Trimble, also another one out here moving today to the downside. So where's the new on that? Downgraded to neutral from buy at Janney. I don't even know who those guys are. A nice gap out here really needs testing. You had a high volume low back here at May 7th at $31.92. Back into it today, 3.9 million shares. So again, if you're going to come down, probably not a bad day to do it, as there is a lot of light volume. VE, what's the deal on that? Let's take a quick Valoa Entertainment. Trying to remember what the deal is on this. Let's take a quick look. But it is another mover. Let's get a current quote. Up 70. That can't be right. Up 72 cents. Is that wrong? July 2nd. VE. $18.50. Certainly correct. I don't know why this thing. Oh, it's down 72 cents. It's missing the minus here on my quotes for some reason. But down about a little less than 4% here today. Again, not a lot moving. It's downgraded at Morgan Stanley. Again, these thin markets are fairly easy to go driving stocks around to some level. To see if there's anything else out here I wanted to look at. No, that's pretty much it. So let's look at a few of the ones that are testing the market. Again, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. And we had a few stocks out here testing highs, especially in the silver market and in the gold market. I wanted to take a look at those today. Gold, G-O-L-D, is up against this previous high. You wanted to see some volume in gold come in today. And I'm going to give this thing 3 days. It is going against that March 6th high at $85.48. 1 million shares on that date. And the last 2 days, we've had 600,000. Today, so far, 456,000. So, a lot of these. There's the silver stock in this, too, that are showing some weakness. And we'll be back and look at it when we come back.
Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy, a set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders, take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And as we come back, I was going to say, you got a few stocks out here, and I'll probably be very interested in listening to Tom O'Brien at 4 o'clock if he brings any of these up. But, of course, we looked at gold, Pan American silver. This thing came up and tested a 3.3 million share high from February 21st with 1 million shares. Now, of course, there's a whole reason why Tom has been doing a newsletter for 12 years on gold stocks. There's a lot of things, exchange rates, problems in country, problems with mines, Putin taking them away, Chavez taking them away. There's a lot of more things into these gold miners that meet the eye, but at least seeing a few out here all at once pushing these highs gives me pause that maybe we've got at least the best in some of these already in, and maybe we need a little bit of retrace out here. Maybe we got ABCs setting up for the next leg. That would be sweet. Maybe you can get a 50% retrace on some of these. That would take you back to what? Let's take a quick look at the retracement on this one. A 50% retracement would take you to $13.84, and $13.41 would be a 618 retracement. There's a nice candle out here that looks to me like you might find a little bit of room at that 318, and that may be, if gold is really in a bull mood here, that may be the place to be taking a look. But I don't know, PAAS certainly testing a previous high with lighter volume. Some of these other stocks that and ETFs that are very interesting to me, TAN, which is the Global Solar Index. This has been barking and kind of doing a little turtling, a little prairie dogging, sticking its head out above this April 24th high, $44.35, 1.2 million shares. And, of course, you've had a lot of movement going sideways here, and that's probably setting up a huge move in the solar market. But the highest volume day you have really is this thing got 1.2 million shares, but did not hit the high on the 17th. And since then, all under that significantly under that 1.2 million shares. Now, hanging up here at these highs, you could have this thing break out. But I have a feeling we'd have to see a lot more problems in the Mideast or a hurricane in the Gulf to get these things going, as they're showing a high correlation to the price of crude. Of course, even crude off 99 cents today. So, as they say, and one of our hosts said before, the best solution for a high price is a high price. That will mean more and more people come into the market with more and more product, and the price will come down. But that's it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I wanted to take a look at Baidu. This is another one out here that seems, even if you use the most conservative number, which is the January 9th high at 185.50 that had 4.5 million shares, the last few days of 4 million shares and 2.8 million shares, at least questionable. If you use the most aggressive number, which is the March 7th high at 189.34 that had 6.7 million shares, certainly we are into that with much lighter volume. And, of course, this is all about the Alibaba IPO and just what you can have. The numbers coming out of China have continued to be weak, and things that kind of disturb me are what we've seen this week, which is, of course, the numbers in the Macau casinos fairly weak, and, of course, they ran the stocks anyway. I'm thinking we are in kind of a euphoric market, and we'll have to keep an eye on that. Anyway, I will be back on Monday, same bat channel, same bat time. Remember to sell when you can or cover when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you Monday.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.